betting buckaroos. Damon D here for yet another week of sports talk, news, betting, wiener jokes, and bad facial grooming. Allow me to squire you about the world of sports wagering on my internet steed and take you into the mystical land of betting on football, or as some people like to call it, losing your ass on the NFL with Damon D. Of course, I'm on Twitter and Facebook too, so yeah, go do that stuff. Now, let's get to some news. So, how about them Cowboys? Okay, show of hands, who's giggling like a schoolgirl with every consecutive Dallas loss this season? Oh wow, that's everybody. Dallas started this season at 9-1 to win the Super Bowl at the BetUS.com sportsbook, and now they've plummeted to 35-1, putting them in Tennessee Titan, Miami Dolphin territory in terms of Super Bowl winning odds. Not good, Dallas. Now, Minnesota, on the other hand, who, of course, beat Cowboys in Week 6, they're hanging steady at 20-1. Now, don't let that number fool you. I wanted to mention it because Minnesota backers went absolutely ape shit when Moss was traded to the Vikings and hammered that Super Bowl futures line in a Favre-induced fervor. Now, it's not that 20-1 doesn't have a lot of value, it's just that Minnesota is simply not that good yet. Now, let's get to some of the big surprises of the weekend, starting with the Seattle Seahawks, who've looked more like the Saskatchewan Rough Riders on the road than the Seahawks this season, yet they roll into Chicago as 6-point road underdogs and sneak away with a straight-up win against a Chicago team that nobody can seem to figure out, not even the Bears themselves. Of course, St. Louis, a monster mind bazooka on Sunday, beating the Chargers straight up as 9.5-point underdogs in what has to be the biggest shocker of the season. Believe it or not, but the Whale's vagina was amongst the leaders in Super Bowl winning odds at BetUS to kick off the season. And once again, the Chargers come into the season pound for pound one of the most talented teams on the planet and continue to underachieve straight up and against the spread. Now, finally, Monday night. Whoa. That game was the football equivalent of watching an 86-year-old lady get mugged by another 86-year-old lady. I would honestly rather punch myself in the dick till I pass out than have to know that this is what I was going to be watching on Monday. But at least we've always got the sports betting couch. Welcome to the Sports Betting Couch, friends. Now, some of the most fun you can have betting on football sometimes has little or nothing to do with the actual outcome of a game. It's not always about point spreads and totals. A future bet is a wager on anything from a coin toss to how many yards a player will accumulate in a game. See, at BetUS, you can bet on almost any conceivable stat and outcome you can think of. You think Tom Brady can toss 4 touchdowns in a game? Well, we've got a line for you. You think that Brett Favre and Tiger Woods will go into business together? Well, we've got a line on that too. It's 10-1, by the way. You can actually bet on all of these things at BetUS.com sportsbook. Now, let's have a gander at where you'll find these bets in BetUS.com. Here, we're checking out the BetUS.com sportsbook. We've all been here before. It's easy enough. Now, to get to the futures bets, you need to simply select the sport you want to bet on in the futures. For today, let's check out basketball since the season is just around the corner. All you need to do is expand the basketball wagering menu by clicking on the little plus symbol. You'll see an option to select futures bets. Check the box, click on show, and you get a cornucopia of futures wagers available. Select one or multiple options, click display, and you have dozens of futures wagers to choose from. Done and done. Now, go check out some futures. I feel like making some picks. Alright guys, now I want you to take a guess. Who's the best performing team against the point spread so far this season in the NFL? Well, there's 2 teams, both 5-1 against the spread, and 2 teams that are on a completely different end of the NFL spectrum. The New York Football Jets are 5-1 against the spread and 5-1 straight up. The other 5-1 ATS team, well, that's the 1-5 Detroit Lions. That's right, Detroit is the best team to bet on in the NFL right now, along with New York. So why mention this when both teams are on the bye week? Well, it's to illustrate to you the psychology of the sports bettor. Now, you need to be aware when reading a point spread that the line that you see does not necessarily reflect the talent on the field. The line is designed to encourage an even distribution of wagering, not to indicate which team is better than another. Now, does Detroit beating the spread 5 out of the last 6 games this season mean that the Lions are a better team than we think? Well, maybe. But the more accurate explanation is that people's perception of Detroit is just so damn bad that odds makers have no choice but to take away a little bit of love on the line, or else nobody's going to bet on them. Capiche? So, who is the misunderstood darling of the NFL for Week 7? Kansas City. Yes, this one's for you, Trevor. The Chiefs are at home, 4-point faves, and are a surprising 4-1 against the spread this season. With that stat and Arrowhead going completely bonkers, I'm taking the Chiefs all day long. Well, that'll be it for another week. How awesome was this, guys? I am Damon. Book my face. Tweet my tweet. And I'll see you next week for BetCenter, brought to you by BetUS.com. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.